This is episode 66 of the Battle of Ohio podcast. It's time for y'all to start believing in my quarterback, Joe Burrow. Y'all saw my immediate reaction to the Bengals beating the Jaguars on the last episode, but I'm back with some more shit to say on this one. On the other side of the state, is it time to start worrying about Baker Mayfield?
No.
I don't think so, but it was a rough week, and a lot of people are starting to ask that question. I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitter, on Facebook, on etc. starting to ask that question: is it time to start worrying about Baker Mayfield? But finally, the Steelers are masters of false hope this year. Because why, Thomas?
Because the Steelers still indeed suck.
Damn right.
You suck, Pittsburgh.
Welcome to the Battle of Ohio podcast, where we follow the revival of the historic rivalry between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, this podcast is so much fun to do when the Bengals and Browns are winning and the Steelers are losing.
I was at the bar.
Last year was I enjoyed doing this podcast last year, but it was less. It was kind of a grind sometimes because the Bengals were so damn bad, and the Steelers were, up until week 12. We're doing really well. And so I was just sitting every episode I get on here and we'd be like, the Steelers still suck. And then I have to qualify. Like, yeah, but they won. But
hey, man, to your defense, though, you were the one that was saying they're a fraud-loving all team. We have it on tape.
Well, and not only was I saying that because, I hate the Steelers, but also I was breaking down. I'm like, are you guys seeing the quality of these wins? Like, when they start playing real teams, let's see what happens. And, guess what? They started playing real teams and they collapsed. So
they collapsed, all right. They collapsed.
It was
the freaking Browns and the Bengals freaking ended the Steelers dynasty single-handedly.
Yeah, back to back too. Well, kind of more or less. Yeah, I mean it was
no, we did it back to back.
It was like a 1-2-1. Well, I'm just saying there was a game in between. The Bengals played the Steelers in week 15, right? So it was like the Bengals had that game, then there was a game in between, and then y'all played the Steelers in the game that sent y'all to the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
And then you played them again after that. But I'm just saying there was a game in between that. So speaking of the Bengals, I had that reaction, and I stand by my reaction. And in general, I'm very happy with what I saw. But my question right now is, I'm not sure if I should slam the Bengals for looking like dog shit against the Jaguars in the first half, or just focus entirely on the fact that they came out in the second half and completely dominated the Jaguars in nearly every aspect of the game in the second half. What we saw in the second half was everything that we were hoping the Bengals would do for the entire game. But as I don't know if they just weren't prepared or what. It was like I said, I was at that game, and the whole stadium's energy was just like, it was so I kept clapping, I kept cheering, and we kept trying to give the Bengals some energy to be like, come on, we can still do it. But by the end of that first half, it was just so hard. And then that defensive that goal line stand happened on fourth down, and that reinvigorated everybody. And a lot of people a lot of people who watched the broadcast who weren't there aren't going to realize that we had the Ring of Honor enshrinement ceremony, like the initial inaugural one at halftime. So that plus the fact that the team had a really good play at the end of the first half really kind of, I think, helped get that crowd back into what was going on. And man, they just went off in the second half. Joe Burrow has just these gigantic nuts of steel that's why he got drafted number 1 overall. Just because of his fucking balls, dude. Like, the Bengals offense got absolutely
boss.
Exactly. The Bengals offense got absolutely bullied in the first half. And then dude comes out and throws just as many touchdowns as incompletions in the second half. He threw 3 touchdowns and 3 incompletions the entire second half.
That was more touchdowns than Baker Mayfield having to fight in an entire year.
Well, yeah.
Oh, don't worry, Baker. We're coming for you. Don't worry,
We're
we'll save
coming
that for
for
later.
you.
We're saving that for later. Go ahead, keep on talking about Joe Burrow.
Still, you can't forget how bad that first half was, right? Because now it wasn't horrible for Joe Burrow. He wasn't awful. He also didn't really have any help. But I mean, he didn't do horrible. What he did was he kind of like had that like icy cold kind of look in his eyes and like convinced his teammates that they were going to make this comeback. But man, that first half was like that. Like their first drive was the only useful one they had the entire first half, and that ended with Evan McPherson missing a 43-yard field goal, the chosen one. I felt so betrayed. I was like, "No, Evan, I thought you were going to do better than this," and then after that, the Jaguars offense just kind of got going. They started scoring, and the Bengals offense couldn't do jack shit. And the Bengals defense looked like they couldn't do anything against the Jaguars offense. That is until 59 seconds left in the second quarter when they held the Jaguars to 4th and inches on their goal line. And I mean, I think I kind of get what Urban Meyer was going for. He was thinking the same thing we were thinking. Oh God, if this goes to 21-0 before the half, this game's over. We're screwed. There's no way we're coming back from this. So I think he was trying to go for the kill, and he was trying to like give Trevor Lawrence like some of that like development and confidence. But the Bengals defense held strong, kept the score at 14-0. You were texting me. You were saying you said I forget the exact.
I think you're about to come out. You're about to come back.
Yeah,
you're about to have a comeback.
And a little bit before that, I tweeted out. I said, I didn't say we're gonna come back, but what I said was, hey guys, holding them to 14, or holding them to no score on that last drive is huge. Because 14 points isn't insurmountable in the second half. I mean, I know it sucks. I know they have to come out and play completely different than they played in the first half. But I mean, these things happen, and it's the Jaguars. The Jaguars aren't exactly strangers to blowing big leads. They just did it against the Cardinals the week before. So I kind of had a feeling we could do that. And like I said, I felt like holding them to 14 instead of 21 was huge. But yeah, like pretty much everybody in the stands was like just like completely energetically drained from the whole thing. Like, I don't know if if you went around and asked people, they might have said like, yeah, I think Joe Burrow can lead this comeback, but only if you asked them, is Joe Burrow going to lead the comeback? I doubt any of them would have organically told you themselves that they thought they were going to come back.
I thought they were going to come back. I knew y'all was gonna come back because I just felt like the Jaguars was just a team that got hot in the first half. To me, it felt like the Jaguars got hot in the first half, and they were just riding this wave of confidence and just playing with their heads on fire because they didn't want to lose.
Yeah,
they're going to last for so long. I have to be exact. I mean, Trevor Lawrence played a good game. You got to give it to him. You got to give it to Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence played a great game.
He played good, and he played particularly well. Like I said, in the first half, the whole Jaguars played really well in the first half. At the same time, the Bengals played really badly in the first half. Now, Bengals fans took a little bit of criticism for booing their team off the field at as the second quarter expired.
No, they performed bad. If you don't want to get booed, they perform better.
They performed really badly. I agree to a certain extent. Let's come on, guys, let's support our team. All we're gonna do is just get in their heads if we boo them. Then go shut the boos up. Boo them at the end of the game. Don't boo them in the middle of it.
Oh man, nah. If you suck, you deserve to get booed.
Well, I mean, maybe you deserve it, but I mean, it's not. For me, it's just not. It's not about whether you deserve it or not. It's about do we want the team to win? Yes. So let's wait until the end to boo them. At the end,
wait till the end of the half to boo them.
But boo them.
Did it work?
No.
Did it work?
It did.
Did y'all not win?
The fans booing them is not the reason why they came back and won that game.
Is it though?
Joe Burrow.
Is it though?
What it was Joe Burrow got in his teammate's head because he blocked the fans out. He didn't listen to the fans. That's what happened. The fans didn't do shit as far as the booing goes. I do believe that the fans the energy that we had in the second half and well, really just the energy, the yelling, the noise, everything, getting behind the Bengals and everything like that in the second half. I do believe that makes a difference, and that's why home field advantage is the thing.
I think having
But
a
I don't
secret
think the
weapon
booing
tight end made a difference too.
at least I don't think the booing did anything positive. I don't.
Like where did that tight end come from? He came out of freaking nowhere.
Oh yeah, he's always kind of been somebody who like is there as somebody who can do stuff. It's just like the problem is the Bengals have
he can do stuff.
not used tight ends a whole lot.
They use him
since Tyler Eifert. Yeah, they're using him now. He's playing a very similar role that Thad Moss played back at LSU, and that's why he's he's basically the safety valve in the passing game. And you kind of saw this last year. The problem is I think he tore his Achilles.
Yeah. They said that they were saying that on the Thursday Night Football cast. Yeah, they were talking. Hey man, they're talking this man up. They're talking about his story and everything. They're like, what a wonderful comeback story. What an emotional guy. So you don't get that when you're watching it in person. You're just like, yeah, football. you don't get the whole story.
I still prefer the game though. But
yeah, me too.
I prefer going to the game. But the thing about CJ Uzomah was he actually caught Joe Burrow's first touchdown pass in the NFL. During the preseason, him and Joe Burrow had a bit of a connection. Or no, sorry, not the preseason, during training camp. And Joe Burrow's first training camp, him and Joe Burrow were developing a bit of a connection. In Joe Burrow's first NFL game, CJ Uzomah caught Joe Burrow's first NFL pass. But unfortunately, he ruptured his Achilles not long after, and he didn't really have an opportunity to get going. But he was also kind of starting to come along as, somebody who could do a bunch of stuff back when Andy Dalton was the quarterback. But, his biggest problem was, he got drafted in like the 5th round, I want to say, back in 2018 or 17 or something like that. And back then Tyler Eifert was on the team, and he was like, he hadn't like really fallen off a cliff just yet, although he was about to, but he hadn't quite done it yet. So everybody was thinking like Tyler Eifert was the guy who was written into the game plan as like, this is the guy, this is the tight end. And CJ Uzomah was basically just brought in as some guy who they were hoping could turn into a good blocking tight end.
Mm-hmm.
And those were back in the days. Those were back in the days where like 2 tight end sets were like all the rage. You remember like back with like Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez, and every NFL team wanted to emulate that, and that lasted for a good like 5 or 6 years, and then just fell off the face of the planet.
And man, it's crazy how the NFL has evolved. Like now, I think it's going to be a 2 running back thing that everybody's going to try and mimic.
Yeah, quite possibly. Now that's kind of been going on and off in the NFL for years, like the 2-headed monster type approach. The Houston Texans, I remember they everybody made a big deal about their 2-headed monster back in the day when they had Arian Foster and Alfred Blue, I think. And it's like, who the hell is Alfred Blue? But like for a very brief period of time on the Texans, him and Arian Foster were like the scariest running back tandem in the NFL.
Well, we all know the scariest running back tandem is today.
Yeah, Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine.
Oh, what about, man? First of all, Samaje Perine is not the second best running back on your team.
No, he's not. He's not. But he is the number 2 on the depth chart, though.
Yeah, I really like that kid from Michigan, though.
Yeah, I do too.
You might see some
more than Samaje.
You might see him a lot this upcoming week, considering the fact that that Mixon's a little beat up.
Yeah. So, before we continue, I forgot to do this earlier. I apologize, and I feel terrible. I should go repent for my sins. But why don't you tell me what you're drinking today, Thomas?
Oh, it's about damn time. I thought you wasn't going to get down to it. Shoot. Okay, so today, because I am pissed off, I'm drinking a sweet tea. But not only am I drinking a sweet tea, first of all, let me open my sweet tea. My sweet tea. Twisted tea. I'm drinking a twisted tea because, it's about to get twisted up in this tea. Open this real quick.
The Browns game was twisted.
We'll get to that. Then I'm drinking a sweet tea from McDonald's. Gotta get that caffeine. And I got me a Coke. I also got me some water. I
Agua.
gotta stay hydrated. I'm drinking a lot of sugar.
Agua.
Oh my god, so good.
Okay. All right. So I am drinking a. It's called a hazy IPA. I guess I actually don't entirely know what that means.
Look at the Sierra
But,
Nevada hazy.
No, it's called Bat Squatch.
Ah, that's a good one.
That thing is insane looking.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Ooh, that's good. I never tried that one before.
I don't know. Let's see.
In the spirit of Halloween, right?
I guess I don't know. I just liked I liked the can art. Ooh, that is bubbly.
The
Ooh,
Browns are playing the Steelers on Halloween.
ooh, that's got a bit of a bite to it. Damn.
The Browns are playing the Steelers on Halloween day.
Ooh, that's gonna be interesting.
And those tickets are really freaking expensive because people are going to line up to see the Browns defense annihilate Ben Roethlisberger. Janavion Clowney looks good. We'll get to that. Go ahead. Let's see about the Bengals. Can I say something about the Bengals game?
You see, yeah, go ahead and say something about the Bengals game.
Because I know you want to talk more about it too. But so for me watching it at home, because this is what I like about watching at home, because you get to watch the Browns games from home while I watch them at the game, and I get to watch the Bengals games from home while you get to watch it at the game type thing. So it's two different fan experiences until they play each other. That's gonna be a fun day.
It's gonna be interesting.
By the way, guys, we're doing a live stream. We're doing a live stream 9 to 12 o'clock. That's what we're doing. We're gonna look if y'all want to help us set up or anything. Hit us up. If y'all want to be a part of it, hit us up. I got some plans. Written up for it, Kyle. So hit us up for our live stream. Our live stream is going to be right before the Browns-Bengals game. We haven't figured out location yet, but we will. Get ready for that. For that. We're going to make that big.
That'll be Sunday. That'll be the morning of Sunday, November 7th. Me and Thomas will be getting together for the Bengals-Browns game in Cincinnati, going to tailgates and stuff like that. But yeah, if anybody wants to help us do our setup and with our stream and everything like that.
Hey, just make it just nice, man. Yeah, hey, hit us up, man. But it's gonna be get ready for that. That's gonna be insane. It's gonna be a fun time. There might be a little beer there. If I'm gonna bring beer. If you show up, if you watching this and you show up, I'll give you a beer. 21 and older.
There you go. Show up and get free beer.
21 and older. You gotta watch this podcast. The code word is she-fish.
She-fish?
I don't know. The first thing that came to my mind. She-fish.
Huh. Okay. All right. I don't know. I'll give you a beer if you show up. You got
to show up and say she-fish.
Okay. You get a beer.
You must know the code word.
She-fish. But I'll give you a beer if you show up.
You got to know the code word. The code word is she-fish.
Okay. I don't know if Thomas is bringing better beer than me or not. I don't know.
She-fish, y'all. Anyway, okay. So back to these Bengals.
Yeah.
So all right, so I gotta say this though. Joe Burrow, he looks elite. You just gotta say it. Freaking Jamar Chase, dude. Jamar Chase, that kid is special. He's only a rookie, and look how he's tearing up the league. Yeah, I love his personality. Do not try and damper that personality. That personality is a part of him, man. He's striving under it. And you see him do it, and he's just getting open. He's taking the ball to the house. Caused all kind of problems for the defense. I don't think he had a touchdown last weekend, did he? But he still was very elusive. He's still very vibrant, and he still caused a lot of problems for that team. So you gotta give it to Jamar Chase, man. You gotta give it to Jamar Chase. Mm-hmm. That tight end and that defense stepped up when they need to step up. Joe Mixon looks a little beat up right now, so he's questionable for next game, if I'm not mistaken. Still a week out. We'll worry about the next podcast. But man, I gotta tell you, man, the Bengals, man, I really like what I seen from the Bengals last week, man. I really like the heart that y'all played with. Y'all played with a lot of heart, man. Y'all played with a lot of heart. That comeback. But I knew y'all were gonna come back against the Urban Meyer keep on partying too much Jacksonville Jaguars. By the way, that photo was hilarious. Y'all see that, by the way?
Yeah, the one with the chick from the club who was grinding on Urban Meyer.
I mean, go ahead, Urban Meyer. You go ahead and party. Actually, I don't really mind do partying that much. But the funniest thing with the press conference, you hear the press conference, he's like, yeah, the press conference, he was like, yeah, I kind of had a couple of drinks and I kind of got carried away. But
Yeah,
the football, my boys had a really good game. We just didn't execute the second half very well. Like dead seriously said in the press conference.
I mean, honestly, that's probably the perspective to take on it. I will say the reason people are mad at him is because he's married. It's not because he was partying.
I think the reason why people are mad at him because he lost.
Well, people are mad at him because he lost. I'm talking about as far as the chick who was grinding on him. The reason that people are like getting like upset about that is because he's married, and he's like setting a bad example for his players. I don't think it has anything to do with just the fact that he's partying. They wouldn't care that much.
Dude, Kyle, I got a secret to tell you.
What's that?
99.9% of celebrities cheat.
Okay.
All of them cheat. All of them cheat. Like, I hate it when I hear breaking news. So-and-so is cheating. So, the person that's probably breaking the news is probably cheating themselves. I just sit here and like, wait, hold on, wait. First of all, how is there a weather delay at the game, at the Chargers game right now, when they're in California in a dome? By the way, I just want to say that.
Are they in a dome?
It's a dome.
Oh, it's the new stadium? Is it like a retractable dome or something like that?
Yeah, but it's saying it's a weather delay. Anyway, that's not here or there. I'm not worried about that. But anyway, everybody in Hollywood cheats. But get it back to the Bengals. Y'all look good, man. Y'all look good. And that's the most bipolar Bengals review you will ever get this week.
Yeah. I will say that that goal line stand on fourth down. I think like it seems to be that like not a lot of people agree with me on this. And I can't understand why, but not a lot of people agree with me on this. But I think that the defense stopping the Jaguars with 59 seconds left is what really started turning the momentum of the game around. And like I said, the Bengals offense got booed off the field, and I wasn't a huge fan of people like, booing the team before the game's over. But I will say what they were booing at that moment was not, they weren't so much, I mean, maybe some people were, but the people that I was around at the very least were not booing the Bengals for having a bad offense. What they were booing was the fact that they didn't like the fact that Zach Taylor just called like 3 quarterback sneaks in a row and ran the clock out. And, I think that was the right call because, you're backed up on like the 1-inch line and you just want to like get out and go into halftime and then kind of like readjust and everything like that. But I think a lot of Bengals fans were hoping that they'd like try to take like a bomb down the field, which probably not the smartest idea, especially with the way that the team's been playing. And you basically kill all your momentum if you end up with like an interception or something like that. So just take the momentum, go into halftime. I like that. A lot of Bengals fans didn't like that, though, and that's why they were booing. At least that's why the ones around me were booing.
Man, at the end of the day, you guys are 3-1, first place in the division. You guys are 2 games ahead of Steelers. In fact, y'all have a tiebreaker. Technically, y'all in first place of the division because y'all the only team that won a game in the division. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, like it's going to get real exciting, man, for this Bengals team going forward, for this Bengals Browns rivalry going forward. So I'm really excited about it myself. Mm-hmm. Joe Burrow looks like he is getting more comfortable after his injury. His stats speak for himself. His stats speak for himself. He got some good weapons around him. The offensive line's looking better. That second half was good. I mean, like it was against the Jaguars, but like you can't take away the teams that y'all play. Y'all played against. It turns out the Vikings have a better defense than we thought they did. Vikings have a good defense, and then you guys do it on the Steelers defense. Then you guys do it on the Jaguars weren't a really good team, but who's the one loss y'all? Who's the one loss y'all had? I can't remember.
The Bears, and
that's right. Y'all should beat the Bears.
We should have beat the Bears. Honestly, we shouldn't have had it come as close to the Bears as we did. But at the same time, Trey Hendrickson should make that tackle against Justin Fields. And then if he does, Bengals got the ball back, and Joe Burrow drives down the field. Evan McPherson hits another game-winning field goal. So, I mean,
y'all turn the ball over too much, though.
We should be 4-0 if the Bengals defense played like the Bengals defense is supposed to play that week, but they just didn't.
It's early in the season, but like I think as the season gets on, I think the Bengals are gonna be fine for the rest of the season. Like It comes back to my theory when I said the Bengals are going to. Well, I say 10, 11 wins. The Bengals going to have before the year.
I think you said. I think I said 10, 11. I think you said 12.
Yeah, I still stick by that. Like I honestly think this team is really freaking good, and nobody's giving them credit. Watch out for the Bengals, y'all.
Let's see what they do this coming week against the Packers, because that's gonna be
interesting.
test. If they can like play the Packers good, or if they can beat the Packers, then you're gonna start seeing a lot of people start talking about the Bengals as like a legitimate contender. But the Packers are going to be the test, because like we were saying, the Vikings are 1-3. Even though they're like 3 plays. Actually, I saw Talon Grossi and Urinating Tree during their Packers Steelers stream that they were doing. Urinating Tree made a good point about the Vikings. They are literally a fumble, missed field goal against the Cardinals, and a defensive holding call away from being 4-0 right now. So, I do think the Vikings are a pretty good win. But then again,
you mean 3-0 because the Browns, we still beat them, even though we still beat them. They had no prayer against us. It's just they have a prayer. His name was Baker Mayfield.
We'll talk about this more when we get to the Browns segment. But that defensive holding call that I'm talking about, if that doesn't get called, then the Browns don't score a touchdown that entire game and they lose 7-6.
Yeah, maybe. I think maybe.
Not maybe, because they had y'all stopped on 4th down.
I mean, you're talking about the one where they
where there was defensive holding, and then Kareem Hunt ended up getting in the end zone.
Yeah. But what about we'll get to that. We
will get to that. One more thing that I wanted to say about the Bengals, though, Evan McPherson, as much as that like missed field goal earlier in the game, it was like a 43-yarder. Like I said, it broke my heart. It made me feel betrayed. I was like, I trusted you, Evan. I talked about how this is why you draft a kicker and blah 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 blah. And then like it really felt like it haunted us throughout the whole game, because we didn't lead the entire game against the Jaguars until time expired. Because what happened was Evan McPherson came back, and it was a 35-yard field goal. It wasn't full redemption for missing the 43-yarder, but he still hit the game-winning field goal. He's got that ice in his veins, and it's the same ice. He's made of the same stuff Joe Burrow's made of. The difference is he's a kicker, which is
ice, baby, ice. Done.
He made it. He made the game-winning one, and that's what matters. I still feel like he could have made a game-winning kick against the Bears, which, by the way, would be insane, because that would mean like a game-winning kick against the Vikings, game-winning kick against the Bears, and a game-winning kick against the Jaguars. That's 3 of the 4 games we've played so far that needed to be won by a game-winning kick. And if Evan McPherson had the opportunity, he would have won 3 of the Bengals' 4 games so far. The only other one being the Steelers, and the Steelers still suck.
They still do suck.
One thing I wanted to point out real quick was Randy Bullock. You remember Randy Bullock, right, Thomas?
Yeah, I do remember Randy Bullock.
The Bengals, Mr. Calf Cramp Boy, the Bengals kicker from last year. He is kicking for the Tennessee Titans now. And
that explains why they lost against the Jets.
That actually is exactly why they lost to the Jets, because they took it to overtime with the Jets, and the Jets got a field goal. Titans marched down the field, aren't able to get in the end zone. Randy Bullock lines up for a 49-yard field goal, which by NFL kicker standards should be able to make. Misses it. Randy Bullock loses another game for an NFL team, and I am so happy. Even though Evan McPherson missed that one in the first half, still so happy we have him instead of Randy Bullock.
I made the wrong game. I made the wrong game. My big upset of the week, man. I know I should have made it. I knew somebody was gonna get upset.
Yeah. Hey, I made the right pick. We'll talk about that later on the live stream. But I made the right big upset of the week.
Shut up! I hate you. Shut up! I hate you. It's cool. I'll come back. There's a lot of season left. You forget there's 17 games this year. There's 17 games this year. Get ready. Hold on.
Yeah. Wonder how much. I'm actually kind of curious how many total games that is. I don't feel like doing math right now, but we'll figure it out later. Or hey, if you know and you're listening, put it down in the comments.
All you gotta do is just do like 32 teams times 17 divided by 2. No, that wouldn't make sense. Damn, how would you do that?
No, it would just be 32 times 17. Well, no, you're right. You're right. It would be divided by. Yeah, you're right, because it'd be 32 NFL teams times 17 games, because everybody plays 17 games.
Yeah.
And then it would be divided. So it wouldn't be divided by 2. It'd just be 16.
There's 18 weeks though, but there's 17 games.
Well,
so
yeah, but there's only everybody has a week off. So I mean, the 16 teams. Sorry, the 16 games are only being multiplied by 17 games.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Each team plays. So
you're right,
the total number of games in an NFL season is 272, according to.
See, I was going to do the math. See, like I figured out the formula. You did the formula. You just
you should.
I was going to. I just told you how to do it. And I was like, oh, let me get my calculator out. I got my calculator out. And as soon as I got my calculator on my computer and get ready to press time, like literally, I got 16 times. Right now. On my laptop right now. Look at that. 16. Boom. I was typing it in. All
right. So let's I guess that's probably all we need to talk about as far as the Bengals are considered, at least for now. So let's go ahead and start talking about these Browns. I said at the top of the episode that a bunch of people are starting to ask should we start worrying about Baker Mayfield? I don't think so. But, man, he gave people reasons to worry this week. I mean, he just could not get anything done. That was an ugly game. And the Browns won. But like I said, and first of all, I want to point out that I'm not saying that the defensive holding call was wrong. I didn't watch at all. I was busy this Sunday. Since the Bengals weren't playing, I figured I'd take the Sunday off to go spend some time with my family. But
congratulations.
I didn't. Well, thank you. I didn't watch the game, so I don't know if the defensive holding call was the correct call or if it was a bad call or whatever. But I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the fact that had the Vikings not done the dumb thing and been called for defensive holding, then they would have stopped the Browns on 4th down, and the Browns would have never scored a touchdown the entire game.
Had they not defensive holders, we would have made the first down.
But it was 4th down, Thomas.
But no, I'm saying is that like the defensive holding was it not a flag because they did something they weren't supposed to do?
No, it was. It was to the best of my knowledge. Again, I didn't watch the game, so I don't know if defensive holding was correct or not. I'm just saying that one little tiny thing was the difference between the Vikings and the Browns this week. And if the ref had magically not seen it or something, then the Browns could have lost this game. And I'm just saying that's the part that we need to talk about, because that's the concerning thing that could come up again later this year against a team that's maybe a little bit more, put together than the Vikings.
Okay, look, before we get to that, before we get to all of that bullshit that you just spit in my ear, let me just focus on one thing right now. And there's only one thing that I got to focus on. There's actually 3 things I need to focus on. There's 3 people I got to focus on. Because I got to deal with people like you, Kyle. I got to deal with people like you, Kyle. You know people like you, dang, that lightning is really coming down out there in L.A. I didn't know L.A. even get lightning. But anyway, and they called the Chargers. It's ironic.
What do you mean LA can't get lightning? Like what?
Every single time you think of LA, you think of sunny skies, heat, fame, smog.
So why don't you tell me what I did, Thomas? Because I didn't do anything.
Oh, no, you did it. You did. I can hear it already. I was thinking to myself, like, oh, man, here comes Kyle going like, oh, yeah, statistically, Baker Mayfield plays 10 times worse when he plays with Odell Beckham. Here go the proof right here. The Cleveland Browns should trade Odell Beckham.
I didn't even have that research.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yet, but I'm going to do it now.
Because plenty of people are saying that shit today. And it's so annoying, Kyle, because it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me, because like I'm hearing every single excuse in the book. Why was Baker Mayfield so bad? Why was Baker Mayfield missing all these open ass receivers? Why wasn't Baker Mayfield throwing it when he literally had a check down receiver for an easy first down, staring at him? He could have just flipped it. My grandma could have underhanded to that running back. Not even joking. Baker Mayfield played very oddly. He didn't just play bad. He played very oddly. He was missing passes. He was not making passes. It was very weird. And the thing that everybody's talking about is the play where he overshot Odell Beckham at the very end of the game. Odell Beckham could have had an easy touchdown, and we could have went up 21-7 and could have iced the game right there. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what is going on between Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham, and Kevin Stefanski. You did not call a good game on Sunday either. You did not call a good game. I don't care what anybody said. You did not call a good game. So the three of y'all need to do what my favorite character on BoJack Horseman always say. Y'all got to get y'all stuff together. Except for she says y'all got to get y'all shit together. But I ain't trying to get copyright laws because we're on Spotify now. But y'all got to get y'all stuff together.
I don't think BoJack Horseman owns that phrase.
Okay, well, y'all got to get y'all shit together. Look, all right, look. First of all, Baker Mayfield. Let's start with you. Like, like Baker, it is a freaking full-time job defending you already. I ain't trying to work overtime, dude. Help me out, bruh. Because I don't get paid enough for me to be defending you this much. I just don't. I don't get paid at all. But let's just be real. Baker, I need you to step your stuff up. Dude, there's no reason why you need to be missing passes like this. There's no way you need to be missing. Like, I don't care. You're not injured. You can't be hurt that bad. I mean, unless you are, but I mean, like, it's just no excuse. I ain't making no excuses for you not having momentum with Odell Beckham. I ain't saying Odell Beckham is the problem. I ain't saying none of that stuff. I'm just going to say you just suck last game, dude. You suck last game. And you 10 times better than the way you played. You are 10 times. I got 2 Baker Mayfield for MVP posters in my room right now.
And he made you look silly.
No, he's still going to win MVP. Watch. But you better come back, dude.
He made you look silly.
You better come back. You got how many more weeks of the season? We already did math on this podcast. 13 more weeks to prove yourself. Because the Bengals look good, and the Ravens look good. So you gotta step your stuff up, dude. And then Odell Beckham, you gotta start running the right routes. I'm not sure if you running the wrong routes or whatever. But Odell Beckham, you gotta step up. And Kevin Stefanski, you gotta call some better plays. I think the three of y'all, for the rest of the week, to go somewhere, lock yourselves in a room, and then just practice. Just practice. Just 3 of y'all. Just practice playing catch. The 3 of y'all just do that. Have a nice talk. Eat some dinner. Watch some Wu-Tang. I don't care. Whatever. Just get y'all shit together. Get y'all shit together. And this whole narrative that we are better without Odell Beckham than we are with Odell Beckham. I might say this. This is going to be a hot take. This is a hot take. I do not think the Browns could win a Super Bowl without Odell Beckham and Baker Mayfield clicking. Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham have to have some kind of connection for us to win a Super Bowl. Yes, we got a good running game. Yes, we have other receivers. But let's be honest. Until Odell Beckham and Baker Mayfield have that connection with each other where they can literally be a threat on the field and they can literally space out. Look at Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. If y'all do not have that, we are not going to win a Super Bowl. I am full-fledged on that. If y'all do not get y'all stuff, so do not trade Odell. All y'all people out here saying we should trade Odell Beckham, how stupid do you sound? You want to trade away talent? I don't care about the statistic that Odell Beckham and Baker Mayfield don't click. Like, get all that out of your head. The only thing that's keeping y'all from clicking are yourselves. That's it. That's the only thing. Because y'all both have the talent for it. Figure it out. Figure it the hell out. Y'all have all the ingredients. Figure it out. Because we're not going to win a Super Bowl until y'all two get it together. And that's what I got to say about it. Go ahead, Kyle. Go ahead. I'm pissed.
Yep.
I'm the most mad. I'm the most mad at you about to win ever.
Yep. It was bad, man.
Kareem Hunt looked good.
He threw the ball 33 times and only got it to where it was supposed to be going 15 times. He threw for 155 yards, which, I mean, those are like 70s numbers as far as like, like we're talking about like
And you're in the dome.
Performance. He had a 15.6 QBR. Now QBR is ESPN's version of the passer rating, so it's I think it's less standardized. But ESPN for their quarterback metric, for their passer rating metric, their QBR, he had a 15.6. That's pretty fucking low for a starting quarterback.
It's really freaking low. And he needs to step it up, man.
The Browns did run the ball for 184 yards on the day, but to be completely honest with you, it barely mattered. As like I said, if Eric Kendricks doesn't get called for holding, defensive holding on that one play, then the Browns turn the ball over on downs. It erases an 8-point score, and the Browns only scored 14 points during the game. So that means suddenly that 14 turns into 6, and the final score becomes 7-6.
I mean, you do all the ifs and buts and kits and luts, whatever. I mean, maybe I be like, who knows what happened? But I ain't gonna go down that route. But like, I will say this though, that Browns defense, man. Man, that Browns defense, man.
That's true.
Man, they're starting to click, and it's gonna be scary for the rest of the league. Like that. Now that Browns defense has so much potential.
They only forced one turnover, and it was an interception that didn't.
They almost forced a 2 or 3. Actually, they should have more than that. But.
Well, maybe they should have, but the only ones they completed was one, and I believe that led to a Browns punt, so it didn't really affect the game at all. But after allowing a touchdown on the opening drive, they didn't allow the Vikings to do anything the entire rest of the game.
Dude, that freaking play when dude, freaking Janavion Clowney just looks good. Like he looks really he looks good. Like he's everything we needed him to be and more. Him and Takk McKinley. Like I don't know why Takk McKinley picked Cleveland to rejuvenate his career, but welcome.
Well, I mean, he had to go somewhere. Takk McKinley didn't have any other options left.
I mean, he's a talented dude. The thing is, though, is that you got freaking 3 freak athletes on your D line. Like that's all. Like Janavion Clowney, Takk McKinley, and Myles Garrett. The reason why they're so good because they're just freak athletes, and now they can just feed into each other. Then you got Grant Delpit doing his thing. Now you got JLK doing his thing. Then you got freaking Rodney Harris didn't play the whole game. Greg Newsom didn't play the whole game. They still look like that. Man.
Yeah, it was
the potential of this Browns defense is insane.
So, I think let's go ahead and start moving on to our underrated players of the week segment then.
All right.
I want to do the Browns first because I take it back. Let's do the Bengals first.
Okay.
So do you want me to go first, Thomas, or do you have somebody you want to give it to?
I got a Bengals underrated player of the week.
Okay, go ahead.
It's the guy it's the tight end that we was talking about, CJ Mujata. That's his name, right?
Mujana.
Uzana.
Oh my fucking God.
And like, you know what the thing was when I was watching the game, I was like, when he made his first catch, I was like, that guy. Yeah. That's who I'm making my underrated player of the week. And then he started having a good ass game. I'm like, stop right there. You're making my pick less obvious. Right. Like they just kept on making play after play. Like, dude, just stop having such a good game.
You know what? It's
but he deserves it.
He's still a good player to pick for underrated player of the week, though, because he is super underrated. Like everybody talks about like a lot of people are talking about like next year's draft. What should the Bengals do? And a lot of people are saying, probably the direction we should go is cornerback and tight end because a lot of people are saying like Bengals tight end room is probably the worst in the NFL, one of the worst, if not the worst in the NFL. And
why are you talking about the draft next year when you're on a Super Bowl contender? Oh, I'm sorry. That say that already.
I don't know about Super Bowl contender, but I mean, nobody's really like discussing the draft right now. It's just a couple people who've talked about like the weaknesses of the team that they have. And then in talking about the weaknesses, they're like, hey, so, maybe next year we should focus on bringing in like some tight end talent or something like that. Because our tight end room right now, like our top 2 tight ends, the ones who actually get playing time are CJ Uzama and Drew Sample. And neither of them are really, particularly like gigantic, like freak athletes or anything like that. But I will say, one thing that CJ Uzama has always been really good at doing, and that I think he gets underrated for. I think a lot of people call them the worst offense or the worst tight end room in the NFL because they see the ratings on Madden, and Madden says that they're one of the worst tight end rooms in the NFL.
It's only a video game.
But the thing CJ Uzama does is CJ Uzama builds chemistry. Like, I mean, that is one thing that is like invaluable for a wide receiver and a quarterback is the ability to build chemistry. We already know how Joe Burrow's ability to build chemistry is. We saw him completing passes to Trenton freaking Irwin, who was just like, some nobody who's, kind of been on and off the practice squad in his career here in Cincinnati. Undrafted guy nobody's ever heard of, and he's out here making catches for the Bengals. And so we know Joe Burrow is elite at making chemistry with his wide receivers, and then CJ Uzama's pretty good at it himself too. So, I mean, these guys get off to a start where, they're just feeding off of each other. Like I said, last year, if like CJ Uzama went down really quickly with an Achilles injury and he was out for the season, but before he went down with that Achilles injury, he also caught Joe Burrow's first NFL touchdown pass ever. And, he was doing pretty good things for the Bengals near the end of Andy Dalton's career too. So, I mean, like he kind of struggled to get going at first because it's hard to get noticed when you're sitting behind Tyler Eifert and Tyler Eifert's prime. But CJ Uzama was still sitting there and when the ball was thrown his way, he'd usually do something with it. He didn't do a lot throughout the games, but when he did get the ball, it was, pretty cool what he could do with it.
Yeah, good job for you doing something with the ball.
Yeah.
Getting the ball and going like, hey, I got the ball. I'm going to do something with it.
People just act like, he's like, some nobody terrible tight end who
he ain't
baller. Once the Bengals figure out a game plan that works and they have him as part of it, he's going to eat. And that's just how, people need to start, I think, paying a little bit more attention to CJ Uzama anyway. I'm not saying he's going to be the next great Pro Bowl tight end or anything like that. But, if opposing defenses aren't planning for this guy, then the Bengals are going to run right over them.
I don't think last game was a fluke either. I don't think that was a fluke what we're seeing on Sunday night. I mean, obviously, I do think that the Jaguars are bad, yeah.
You mean Thursday
I don't
night?
think that's a fluke. Yeah, Thursday night. But I don't think that's a fluke. I don't think it's a fluke at all.
I don't think it's a fluke at all. No. I think
I didn't become more consistent.
Perhaps it was a fluke that the Jaguars got up 14-0 on us and almost.
I do think that was a fluke.
That might have been a fluke, but the Bengals aren't a fluke. The reason I say the Bengals aren't a fluke is because they do the same damn thing every week. They do whatever they do for 3.5 quarters, and then at the tail end they turn it into this fucking spectacle. They turn it into the spectacle. The only game they haven't done that in was against the Steelers, and that's because the Steelers still suck. And
yeah, they do.
But I mean, against the Vikings, they did that. They took it down to the fucking wire when they really didn't need to. They did that against the Bears. They ended up losing that game, but they still took it down to the wire when they didn't need to. And then they did that against the Jaguars. It's like there's no reason y'all should be, losing like that to the Jaguars and needing to make a miracle comeback, but that's what they do. They're a second half team this year. It's kind of annoying, but it is who they are.
Baker Mayfield might be a second half quarterback, or the second half of the season quarterback. I'm going to chew his ass out. Baker Mayfield, if you want to ball out next game, I'm going to fly to L.A. and I'm going to – never mind.
All right, so my underrated player of the week for the Bengals, and I cannot believe I'm saying this because I'm going to have to –
I know where you're going. I know exactly
you might know where I'm going. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but my underrated player of the game this week is Eli Apple.
Yep.
Eli Apple, the Bengals cornerback who isn't supposed to be starting, but he started the first 3 games because Trey Waynes was still coming back from the hamstring injury, and he started this week because Trey Waynes came back, but now Chidobe Awuzie is hurt.
I told you go easy on Eli Apple, man.
Do what?
I told you go easy on Eli Apple.
Well, you know what? I in my defense, it's not like Eli Apple came out and had like a top tier game or anything like that. It's not like Eli Apple was out here making interceptions and then just being complete lockdown cornerback or anything like that. But I've been shitting on Eli Apple for weeks, and I think deservedly so. I think he's played like shit for a while. And I've been talking about he's the only Bengals defensive hole because it's the cornerback 2 spot right now, which is the only
he's Justin Jehu.
Yeah, exactly. And he every week I tweet out Eli Apple is a liability. This is your weekly reminder that Eli Apple is a liability. And I do that every single week. And it's not because I'm planning it. It's just because that's what fucking happens. Eli Apple acts like a liability. But this week, he was not a liability. Trey Waynes came back. And he didn't do a whole lot. He allowed when Trevor Lawrence was throwing in his direction, Trevor Lawrence had a 118.8 passer rating. Not to mention, he allowed 2 receptions. 2 times somebody caught the ball on him, and it went for 62 yards. Despite only being targeted twice. He was targeted twice. His receiver caught the ball both times, and they ended up with a net 62 yards out of both catches. How does that happen?
I just think that he found some holy water. He found a rookie quarterback who can't throw his direction. I think Trevor Lawrence didn't realize that Eli Apple was actually particularly a bad cornerback. But
it helped that the rest of the Bengals secondary wasn't playing particularly great. But what Eli Apple did was he started the day by seemingly setting up the Bengals for success on the first Jaguars play or the first Jaguars drive. He broke up a long touchdown pass to Laviska Shenault, and they ended up punting. And unfortunately, the Bengals offense couldn't do anything with that next drive, and they ended up punting back, and then the avalanche happened. But he created momentum again because he was not the one who stopped Trevor Lawrence on 4th and goal heading into halftime. But he did stop Laviska Shenault around the 7-yard line, the play immediately before. Sorry, not on the 7-yard line. He was the one who set the Jaguars up on the 1-yard line. So Laviska Shenault caught the ball against Eli Apple, started running, got down to the 1-yard line, and Eli Apple managed to tackle him before he went into the end zone. And then on the following drive, it was 4th down, and Trevor Lawrence tried to sneak it in and did not sneak it in. The point being, Eli Apple, when he was targeted, more often than not, created momentum for the entire Bengals team by making a really good play.
Yeah.
On the whole day, I said Trey Waynes allowed a 118.8 passer rating. Eli Apple only allowed a 77.1 passer rating.
Okay.
And he per PFF, he received the second highest overall grade on the Bengals defense, which was a 76.9.
Okay. So shout out to you, Eli.
Shout out to you, Eli Apple. I hope you continue playing like this, and if you do, I will absolutely give you credit every time on this podcast. I don't enjoy shitting all over you on the podcast. I just report what I see. What I've been seeing is shit. But if you keep playing like that, I will sing your praises. I promise you. I don't hate you as a human being. I think you got to be playing better than you normally do. But this week you did, and I will give you credit for doing so. So Eli Apple, congratulations. You are my pick for the Bengals underrated player of the week. So
congratulations.
Congratulations. Let's move on to the Browns. Who's your underrated player, Thomas?
For the Browns, I'm going Grant Delpit. Made some good plays in the secondary. Very stepped up when Rodney Harris went out. I think what I like most about Grant Delpit right now is his ability to I'm just really enjoying his ability to come back from such a gruesome injury. I mean, he tore his Achilles last year. Talk about, I guess, both mine rated player of the week tore his Achilles last year. But I really got to give it to Grant Delpit. He's doing his thing. So shout out to you.
Right on.
Mm-hmm. Great defense, great defending. Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Yep. So I have to pick a player who did well for the Browns.
I was fix the defense or a kicker.
So Kareem Hunt scored the touchdown. I wouldn't really call him underrated. Jesus Christ. Man, y'all had a bad game, didn't you? Fuck. You know what? You make a good point, Thomas. I am going to make my underrated player of the week, Chase McLaughlin.
That's great.
Why? Well, he is underrated because nobody believed in him going into the season. I certainly didn't. I was on this podcast talking shit about him. Thomas was on this podcast talking shit about him. We were like, the guy who's like, supposed to be an afterthought of Cody Parkey, is he going to be any good? We didn't think so. And I mean, it's not like he did anything particularly super special, but I mean, he did hit a 53-yard field goal. That was pretty cool, I guess.
I mean, he hasn't missed a field goal all year, man. You gotta give it to him.
Yeah, man. And you know what? Evan McPherson, I've been singing his praises all year. He missed a field goal against the Jaguars. So, shout out to you, Chase McLaughlin. You are a
I'm just looking at something for something. I'm sorry. I was looking at something that kind of pissed me off.
Chase McLaughlin, you are a gold nugget among stuns, my friend.
By the way, shout out to the fact that we finally got a good kicker since Phil Dawson. Like, he's been making his kicks in a little bit. I mean, like, you gotta give it to our defense, though. I mean, like, obviously, you gotta give it to. The thing is, I mean, nobody on offense is underrated because, like, you perform on offense, you're supposed to perform on offense. But Baker Mayfield, you look horrible, man.
Terrible.
Yeah,
Bad
terrible. You better step it up next week. We better be 4-1 going to the Cardinals game. I swear to God. I swear to freaking God, you better step up Baker Mayfield. He'll be fine. Watch, he gonna come back. He always does this. Watch, she about to step up next.
All right. So let's talk about this fantasy league. So just full disclosure, there was a weather delay for the Raiders Chargers game. So I believe, has that game started yet? I don't think the game.
No.
I think that game. Oh no, yeah, it has started.
It's about to kick off soon. Did it kick off already? Oh shit!
Yeah, they already kicked off. They are about a minute in to the game, so nothing's really happened yet, and so so we don't really know the results going into talking about these games, but quite a few of them we know the results. So like my game, for example, I beat Debbie's unmatched team. Despite the fact that both of our teams performed like absolute fucking shit, by the way. Like, neither of us went over 100 points. I probably will go over 100 points because I still got Daniel Carson and Mike Williams left to play. Debbie, on the other hand, I actually noticed this before we started recording. A couple hours before we started recording, I noticed that she forgot to put a defense in. And then she had the Baltimore defense on her roster, which scored 11 points. So I was kind of like looking around. I'm like, am I gonna get away with one here? And I probably still will get away with one because I'm still ahead of her by about 16 points right now, and her defense currently has 10 points. So I'd be shocked if her defense ends up with like 30 points, and then that would also require Daniel Carson, the Raiders kicker, and Mike Williams, the Chargers wide receiver, both to have 0 games, or 0 score games. So I probably won this game, but I mean, neither of us should feel proud about this. Like, we're both under 100 points. And
I don't think anybody did well last week because, like, honestly, I think offense in the NFL was down last week.
Oh, were they? That was
yeah.
A little bit.
You didn't notice? Like, go back and look at the scores.
I didn't really pay attention to it that much.
Take a second to look at the scores in the NFL last week.
Okay. I don't know what you're talking about. The offensive.
Well, all I'm saying is that I'm about to win. I could win with 76 points.
Yeah,
I just need.
right now you're projected to lose because Ian still has Darren Waller left to play, and Darren Waller's probably gonna like Darren Waller always has big games. So
Yeah, but he got to have a great game.
well, here's the thing. I'm in another fantasy league, which is actually a money league, and I need in that particular league, I need Darren Waller to have a big game.
Okay, I
Because
just need him
I'm
to have.
currently
Okay,
behind. I'm currently behind by 12 points. So if Darren Waller can get at least 13. Oh wait, no. I also got Byron.
can we have a consensus with this? I need him to have just a above average game because the above average game win my fantasy.
Okay. I'll tell you what. How about Darren Waller gets 10 fantasy points, which will
I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
We
Darren
get
Waller
both
10 fantasy points, then hopefully Byron Edwards can get like 6 or 7. And then
Yeah,
if that's the case, then I should be able to.
I need Henry Riggs is the third to have a big game today.
Oh no, I need way more than that. Oops. Okay, so 123. I'm currently 30 points behind. So how about this? How about this, Thomas? How about Byron Edwards just has 30 points and then Darren Waller has 0 points?
I'm going with that too.
Okay. Although neither of those are probably going to happen. I'm probably not going to win, and also neither are you. Now, I am going to beat Debbie because Debbie had an uncharacteristically bad week. Debbie was tied with me for the best team in the podcast fantasy league. And she just had a bad week this week. Lamar Jackson didn't do super well. Tyler Lockett was awful. Marvin Jones was awful. DeAndre Swift was awful. Travis Kelce was awful.
That's what I'm saying, man. There's a lot of offense.
Awful.
There's a lot of offense missing in the NFL this week.
Leonard Fournette had a really good game out of fucking nowhere.
Relatively.
Pretty damn good game. He had 15 fantasy points.
I'm looking at my other fantasy league real quick. Let's see. Where am I at? My team.
So the highest scoring.
I
there
lost.
were pretty high scoring teams this week, though. DJ McNutt, he runs Dunder Mifflinites 740. His team scored 141-46. So and I believe he beat the bot. So thank God somebody finally beat the fucking bot.
Yeah, beat the bot.
Yeah, and the bot still didn't have anybody not playing in a game or anything like that. Like no injured players, well, there's no bye weeks yet anyway. But 141-46, getting big games from Russell Wilson, Terry McLaurin, Najee Harris. Really? I don't recall Najee Harris having a big game.
Yeah, touchdown.
I
actually dropped freaking Baker Mayfield from my fantasy team.
Devontae Smith and Tyler Bass. So pretty good game from Dunder Mifflinites 740. And also, who was the other one? I think Jordan Heiser's team, Jungle Bungles, which I fucking hate that name. God damn it. But 153-82, which barring nothing drastic happens, should be the biggest game of the week. He had a huge game from Deebo Samuel, 31.7. Pretty good game from Tyler Boyd. Good game from Derrick Henry. Good game from David Montgomery. Good game from Deontay Johnson. So, that's what we're looking like. So after these results finalize, then I will be, I believe, could be wrong. Let's see. We got Renegades and Hanging with Hernandez. Looks like Hanging with Hernandez beat Nick. Which is what's his name? Michael Dorsey.
Michael Dorsey.
Michael Dorsey.
Michael Dorsey.
Michael Dorsey beat Nick Boley.
He's always going to be Michael Dorsey in my heart.
and barring a massive like upset by Nick at this point, but I mean it's possible, but most likely Michael Dorsey's Hanging with Hernandez.
Who did we pick, by the way, for this game between the Chargers and the Raiders? Because I'm trying to remember.
I believe we both picked the Raiders.
Damn, I'm regretting my pick already. Let me see.
Well, let me look it up. Let me look it up.
Dang, I'm regretting my pick already. Dang, I'm like sitting here thinking to myself, dang, the Chargers are straight up a better team. No, I'm pretty sure I picked the Raiders.
I don't know.
No,
I
yeah, I
think
picked the
the
Chargers.
Raiders are a really good team that just plays super sloppy. That's their problem. But if they can have a good game, I think they should easily beat the Chargers. The only
I kind of
thing
want the Chargers to
have
win.
better is quarterback.
I kind of want the Chargers to win on them low, because like if we both pick the same
I-
team, then I don't really care about the prediction at that point.
I
But
don't
I kind of
think
want the
Oh
Chargers
no!
to win.
Oh no! We both picked the Chargers. I lied.
Oh, okay, of course we did.
Yeah,
Okay.
according to my records.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking to myself. I had it, yeah, because I was thinking to myself. Did I pick the Chargers I was thinking myself. I was trying to figure it out because I was like, it makes sense. I moved the Chargers because I was thinking they're home, and then yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
It makes sense to me too because the Chargers have been playing well, and the Raiders.
The whole time I'm watching this, I'm
been playing sloppy. So I think that was my whole reasoning.
The whole time I'm watching, I'm like, dang, the Chargers are going to win this game. And then like I just watched that first drive, and now I'm like, it's confirmed in my head the Chargers are going to win. But I really want that game. I really want the Chargers to be like for real going into the next game, where when they play the Browns. So when the Browns beat them, get ready.
So anyway, with this fantasy league, it's looking like it's going to be me and Michael Dorsey are going to be the only undefeated teams left. Because I'm obviously, as I said, I'm going to beat Debbie, which looks like should hold. And then Cameron Matthew of Renegades has already that game's already confirmed. He lost to Jordan Heiser, who had the best game this week. So it's just going to be me and Michael Dorsey. And I'm going to have the advantage. Technically, my team will be the best team in the league because I'll have the most points for, which is how they count the tiebreakers. So you're damn right. The Mixon administration, bitch.
Flights to LA. No, I'm sorry. I'm looking at flight prices for LA right now.
Are you trying to get out to LA?
I mean, like it wasn't for the fact that freaking if I thought about this earlier, and it wasn't for the fact that flight tickets right now are like $100 and something this weekend, because I ain't spending $100 to fly Spirit.
Oh shit, Thomas. So you benched. Sorry, this is unrelated. You talked on the last episode how you're going to bench Ronald Jones because you're tired of dealing with him.
Yeah.
Dude got a touchdown.
Yeah, well, it's about damn time he got a touchdown in his life. I should have traded his ass.
And you were talking about that too. You're like, man, the second I bench him is the second he's going to start doing well. And well, there you go.
Man, he's gonna be bad next game. He's a trash ass player.
Well, you played Demetric Felton, who didn't do shit.
He's also a trash ass player.
Well,
No, Demetric Felton isn't bad, honestly. It's just the fact that Baker Mayfield playing like a trash ass player.
You play Austin Hooper over Dallas Goedert. Like Dallas Goedert had a huge game.
Dude, you know what? On the low, like, okay, I'm getting ready to I'm looking at my other fantasy league, and I got freaking. I'm like, I want to add CJ Ujaga.
Usama.
Yeah, him.
God damn it.
And I got freaking Zach Ezine and freaking excuse me, that the tight end for the Dolphins on my team. So I can't even get rid of none of my tight ends. I'm so loaded at tight end. My team is so loaded. My other team is so loaded. Like my other team is so loaded, and I'm 2-2 because I don't use them right.
How many teams are in that league though? Because part of the reason
14.
Oh,
and my team is let me read you off my roster. I got Baker Mayfield quarterback, Nick Chubb, Chase Edmonds, Demetric Felton was just a pickup that I just picked up. He's the worst player on my team. I got DeAndre Swift, Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, Chris Godwin, Kenny Golladay, who should be good, who had a good game finally, Devontae Parker, Anthony Schwartz, Zach Ezine, Mike, whatever his name is, tight end for the Dolphins, Evan McPherson, and New Orleans Saints defense.
That Saints defense has been up and down.
Yeah, I know they have been. They're usually not. Come on, Saints. I believe in y'all. But anyway, I can fix the defense, though. But either way, like, it's just the skill positions are insane right now.
Yep. Let's go ahead and switch gears here. Talk about.
How did Austin Church do, by the way?
He's bad, dude. Everybody's beating off in church.
I think off in church made a bad team on purpose.
I don't know. I'll have to ask him.
I think
I'm gonna see him later this week. I'm gonna tell him. Oh, you know what? He also, in his defense, looks like he has two guys who just straight up didn't play. So I don't know if he necessarily saw that coming.
Because he knew that people were gonna love. I'm not saying anything. I'm
no, man. I don't know. If I find out he made a team that was intended to lose just for the joke, and he made Joe Burrow the quarterback of that team, we might have to fight. Let's talk about these other AFC North teams, the state of the AFC North.
Okay.
So them Steelers stay in the basement after losing 27-17 to the Packers. Because why, Thomas?
Because the Steelers still suck. But
the Steelers still fucking suck.
Like we all knew they were going to lose, and they're going to lose next game too. Who they play next week?
I don't know who they play next week, but they're going to lose.
Wait, yeah, who they play on next week? And then after that, they're going to lose again.
Yeah.
And I love Steelers fans. Steelers fans are so delusional. They're like, we're going to come back. No worries. We're not bad.
And then Ben Roethlisberger throws like a ridiculous, stupid interception. That was
trash. At least Baker Mayfield's not throwing interceptions, though. That's what I can give it to him. Like, at least Baker Mayfield, like, he's like, one thing I give it to him, he's out of rhythm, but he's not throwing interceptions. I got to give that to you, Baker Mayfield. You're not turning the ball over. That's actually a big thing. That's how I know it's not alarming.
Not only did Ben throw an interception, he also lost a fumble. Like, I mean, he just looks completely lost in the backfield, which
they play the Broncos next week.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, they should lose.
I don't know. The Broncos kind of got exposed by the Ravens.
They get exposed, or they might have been exposed, but it's not as bad as the freaking Steelers.
Yeah, that's probably true. At one point, Ben Roethlisberger threw a ball to Najee Harris for -1 yards on 4th down. Like, why?
Because you decided to draft a running back in the first round. We're going to draft a running back in the first round. Yeah.
I don't understand the logic behind making that throw because, what do you think? What are you going to accomplish? I don't know. The Steelers are 1-3 right now and should probably be 0-4. They beat the Bills, but it was a weird, fluky Week 1 game, and the Bills have looked a lot better ever since, and the Steelers haven't looked nearly that good. So honestly, the Steelers should have lost to the Bills, but and they kind of had to mount a comeback in the first place to do it in the first place. So I don't know. They have a winnable game against the Broncos team that just got exposed by the Ravens coming up, but after that, their next winnable game looks like maybe Week 9 against Chicago. Or against Chicago, sorry. And I mean, y'all still think this team is going to turn around and keep Tomlin away from a losing record? This team isn't going. This team is rebuilding. This team is going into a massive rebuilding phase, and it's going to be bad for at least a few years. And I mean, people are talking about them bringing in Aaron Rodgers, and if they bring in Aaron Rodgers, then there's no rebuild anymore. And it's like, no, that's not what's going to happen. Can you imagine Aaron Rodgers trying to operate behind the Steelers' offensive line? Like, it might be a little better than Ben Roethlisberger, but
Aaron Rodgers might come to the Browns before he goes to the
Nobody could do anything behind this offensive line. The Steelers' offensive line is the problem, and trying to find solutions around the offensive line is still negating the fact that the offensive line is straight trash and is the problem. That was the problem y'all made with the running back. You all decided to go draft a running back in the first round, didn't build him an offensive line. You just went with the same one that was awful last year.
By the way, I'm looking at these standings in the freaking AFC because I want to see standings. I want to see Steelers in last place. Yeah. What the hell is going on with the freaking AFC right now? Like, are you seeing these standings right now? It's like the AFC North and the AFC West, and then every single division has nothing but losing teams. Like the Titans and the Bills are the only two teams outside of the AFC North and the AFC West that have a winning record. That's insane. You see that? You look at these records right now? How are there only 2 divisions? Anyway, that's not here or there. The Steelers, you suck. You deserve to be in the NFC East. Trash ass team, trash ass quarterback, trash offensive line, trash ass freaking running back, trash ass freaking TikTok star, trash ass Confederate soldier. Oh,
Look,
suck
honestly,
Pittsburgh.
the fact that they have a single win on their record is, I think, doing a disservice to how bad they truly are this year.
I really do hope the Broncos smoke them.
Oh, I absolutely hope the Broncos smoke them. I just don't know if that's going to happen. I think it's a winnable game for the Steelers. Now,
Yeah, they are at home, but
whether they will win or not, I don't know. But it's winnable, and if they don't win this game, it's just like, what the hell are you doing, Steelers? You know, they after this they got the Seahawks. After that, they got the Browns. Okay, so I mean, like, it's like the Broncos is their last opportunity in a while to get a win. And then after the Browns, they got the Bears, they got the Lions, then they got the Chargers, they got the Bengals, they got the Ravens, Vikings, Titans, Chiefs, Browns, Ravens. So it's like, I mean, the Steelers don't really have, like, maybe 3 games left on their schedule that's like super winnable, and that's it. So I mean, y'all need to start kicking it in gear soon. If y'all don't beat the Broncos, it could be a bad finish for you.
well, look, the question for the Broncos is going to be if Teddy Bridgewater could go. Because Teddy Bridgewater could go, I think that he can come back and make some noise against the Steelers.
Well, concussions can be kind of fickle. Sometimes people come back right away. Sometimes people take a couple weeks.
I mean, even still, you know, I mean, like, I already think Drew Lock is a terrible quarterback. I just think that he
didn't look good against the Ravens.
Yeah, I know, but he came out in a weird situation. I mean, you know, you never know, man. You know, you got a week to game plan and stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of the Ravens, they are, in their defense, they're starting to kind of prove me wrong.
Yeah, they look good.
I am really I'm still not totally sold on Lamar Jackson, but I am starting to get really sold on John Harbaugh. That man is an amazing fucking coach, and
he's a great coach.
I respect the hell out of what he's doing, because, like, honestly, this Ravens team should not be as successful as they are right now. They're just getting it done.
Yeah, he's the second best coach in the division.
Even Lamar, though, is starting to do this crazy thing called taking care of the football. What revolutionary, huh? Taking care of the football.
That pass that he made to Marquise Brown, that was a pretty touchdown. You gotta give it to him.
Yeah, and if he continues taking care of the football, that could solve a major flaw in his game.
Yeah.
So I mean, like all this shit that we've talked about Lamar Jackson, if he starts taking care of the football, then it can be tough to play against him, because, I mean, even if he's not like completing a shit ton of passes, as long as he's not turning it over, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean,
running ability.
I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see. I really hope Lamar Jackson. I honestly, though, on the low, like, I really do hope that the Ravens are a great team, because when the Browns beat them, I want the Browns playoff run to be as tremendous as possible. I want them to come from the toughest division, beat the toughest teams. Like, I want it to be good. I don't want the Ravens them just beat the Ravens because the Ravens are on decline. I want them to beat the Ravens because they're good. When they're good. I want the Browns to be battle tested when they get the playoffs. And beat the Chiefs.
Now there was a little bit of controversy about the Ravens, because allegedly, I guess, at the end of the game, John Harbaugh was chasing some, like, rushing yards record, and the Broncos players, particularly Vic Fangio, their head coach, was complaining because they're like, you know, hey, there's no need to be running these plays. You already got the game won. Just kneel on the ball and let the game be over, instead of.
Hey, man, it's not their responsibility to respect the feelings. If y'all don't want somebody to break the rushing record on y'all, stop sucking so bad.
No. I don't think that was his point. I don't think his point was like, you're disrespecting us by breaking this record. I think he was saying, like, you're chasing this record that nobody really cares about, and you're putting, you know, our players and your own players in danger to do it.
Yeah. Okay, I got you. I didn't think about that. Okay,
I don't think it was about the respect of what the score ended up being.
Okay, well, never mind that. You suck, Baltimore.
Fuck you, Ravens. So the Ravens play the Colts and Chargers the next 2 weeks before they get the Bengals in week 7 at home. Now, the Colts are a team that's kind of been underperforming, but I think might be a little bit better than what their record indicates, whereas the Chargers are a team that look as good as anybody right now. So, I mean, if the Ravens win both those games, or if they end up with a similar record as the Bengals through the next two games, this could be a really interesting game against the Bengals when the Ravens play them in Week 7. I mean, the Bengals' run defense has vastly improved this year, yet they still kind of seem to struggle with quarterbacks who have mobility. So, I mean, just from a neutral perspective, this could be a fascinating game to watch between the Bengals and Ravens. Bengals do have a big game coming up against the Packers this week, but then after that, they play the Lions. So, like, it could very well be a game that separates two of the teams that are currently tied for the division lead.
I think it's about to get real interesting in the AFC North.
Yep.
I think that we about to see like Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow just go at each other. Like all three of them are Heisman winners. You think they don't talk to each other? Like you really think they don't talk? Like let's just be real for a second. You think these three don't talk to each other?
I'm sure they
like
do.
All three of them are Heisman winners. Like how many divisions in the NFL? Like there's a lot of. I mean, like you really think about it. Like all right, yeah, there's a lot of Heisman winners, but like really think about it. How many divisions got three starting quarterbacks with Heisman winners? Right? I don't know. Like I'm trying to really think of another one.
Well, there's definitely not any more that have three.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know damn well, man. Why they about to compete against each other? It about to get real.
It's about.
I think it's about to get real interesting between the three of them. I think they about to start going at you because I think Baker Mayfield about to have a bounce back game.
Yep.
I don't think I know he is. He always does this. He takes criticism. Baker does all the time. He takes criticism. He plays poorly, and then he responds, and then he plays poorly again, and then he responds again. He doesn't like a little cycle. There's a whole chart about it.
Yep. Well, we'll see what happens, but I think that's gonna do it for this episode of the Battle of Ohio podcast, guys. I got to get going here in a sec before we record our predictions episode, so got to go ahead and cut it short here. Although we've been going for nearly an hour and a half, so I don't think we're cutting it that short. But
I couldn't cut it off.
But anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. You can always catch more of what I do at Kyle Phelps92 on Twitter, Facebook.com/The Phelps. More of what Thomas does at T_star94 on Twitter and Instagram. YouTube page. He's got a YouTube page called the Thomas J Network, which that's what he does on TikTok too. And he's been blowing up on TikTok, so you might want to go check him out there.
New song coming.
Shout out to Around the Block, who we're part of their podcast network now, and they're giving us all these tools to work with and everything. They're helping us promote our stuff. So
thank you guys.
And if you're listening to us through Around the Block, make sure to go check out their other great podcasts. Make sure to go check out the website where there's a bunch of written content that you can look at too. I'm covering the Bengals in written form quite a bit on the website, and I also just recently took over the NFL Power Rankings column. So I'm doing, I'm doing Power Rankings. I'm actually I've almost got my first Power Rankings article fully written up now. I
can't wait to read it. I can't wait to read it, Kyle. Can't wait to see. I can't wait to critique your Power Rankings. We're going to do that next podcast.
All right. Oh, well, okay. All right. We can
break down
the Power Rankings if you want.
I want to break down the Power Rankings. I want to break down the Power Rankings, man. I want to, have a talk.
It should be up by the time we record on Thursday. I'm not.
If we don't, it's fine.
I mean, if we don't, it's right. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah. Anyway, like I said, thanks for listening, everybody. I got to go, but I'll leave y'all with a hooday.
Go Browns.
Yeah.
And Baker, get your shit together.